All right then, so let's go ahead and create the functions to save our details into the cloud. So open up here, and what I need to do, let me open this index.js. So this is the place where we are validating the token, and we are exporting these functions and everything. So just like the same way, we have to create a function to save the app data on the cloud. All right, so let's open the chat GPT and ask the chat GPT to provide us, let's, instead of getting the exact same details, so let's search for like, ask the chat GPT to create us some sample, like let's say create a CRUD operation. Basically CRUD operation means like the create, read, update and delete. Create the CRUD operation on a blog using the Firebase cloud functions, and maintain all the functions separately. Not maintain, and export all the functions separately. So hit the enter, and that will gives you some basic ideology how to initialize the functions and everything, and how to export it and all those things. And here we go. So this is the place where we are getting the create block, and this is the place where we are getting the read block and update block and delete block, and finally how they are being exported, right? So if you wish to keep them in a separate file, this is the best way that you have to do it. So you need to create a config.js file and export the admin and the db from that config, and you need to create a separate files to export them separately, and then from the index.js you have to map those functions separately, right? This is for a very big project. In this case, we are not going to have that much the functions. Functions are very limited. So in that case, I'm just going to keep the functions in a single file itself. If you wish to do that, feel free to customize your coding as you wish. To keep it simple and not making much more complexities, let's keep it as simple as possible. All right, so over here, this is the function that how they are exporting the data to the cloud functions, right? So over here, the course is missing. So let's ask the chat GPT to enable the course for each of these functions. So that will add the course cross-origin resource sharing options. It's enabled in the each and everything. See, just like the same way what we are doing over here, right? So let's have a look on the create block. So let's go ahead and create this. So exports dot create new app or something equals to functions dot https dot on request open it async open it request comma response. Let's pass the and create and callback function. Enter. And now let's enable the course. Let's pass the request comma response. Then we need to create an async function and call a callback function. All right, so let's enable the try and catch. So we need to handle it properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy the try and catch from here, and I will remove the complete statement which is inside this try block, and let's keep the catch block. And then instead of this status, I'm just going to send the error message as an object. Whatever the error I'm getting, I'm just getting the error message as an object or outside of this function. All right, so here first I need to get the data, complete data from the body. So what I'm going to do is, so const data equals to request dot body. Let's get that data, semicolon. And now all I have to do is to, so we will get the complete data object over here. Okay, so now what we have to do is, so here let's create the document reference. So const doc doc reference equals to await. We use the DB or database options and dot collections, and let's give the collection names as apps, and we are going to add the detail add. Since we are getting the complete informations from the we are generating the IDs and everything from our what to say, we are getting the options and ID details and everything from there. So we are not supposed to auto generate the IDs. The reason why I'm saying we are not supposed to auto generate the ID, it's because we already created the ID over here. So by the time when I have to create a collections, I need to send the ID. I need to pass the ID as the query as a parameter over here, right? So I need to pass the ID as a query parameter. So what we have to do is, let's ask the chat GPT to collect for creating a block. Like it's need to have an ID. Instead of using the add method, it's need to use the set method, right? So there are two different methods to create an document in the collection. Instead of that, we have to use the set method. So let's ask the chat GPT. I think I already have that over here. So let me open that one. So this is the, yep, here. Not this one. I think where it is. Come on. I already asked the chat GPT to provide me that. Create a blog over here. Yeah, this is the one. See, this is the one. So this is how, instead of using the add method, so we are using the doc method, which create a document based on the ID what we are supplying. Then we are setting the data to that particular ID inside our Firebase collections, right? So this is the way that we have to approach. All right, so now instead of sending this add method, I'm going to create a doc reference by using doc. Then from the request.body dot underscore ID. So that's the property that we do have over here, underscore ID. So I'm going to get that underscore ID and I'm going to create it. I'm going to supply that ID as the doc reference ID. Then what I need to do is I need to set that detail. So all I have to do is to, so at this point over here, this is not necessary. Await keyword is not necessary over there. So let's use the await keyword over here. Await doc reference dot set method. Set, we need to use the set method. So this set method will help you to set the data which we having in our hand. Data, supply the data into it. So once it's saved, once it's successfully saved and everything, so we have to retrieve the data from the retrieve. This is not necessary, but if you wish to retrieve the data from that, retrieve the data from the cloud. So const app detail equals to doc reference. We use the same doc reference to get that detail which is successfully saved. So then all we have to do is response.json, or before that, let's say response.status 200.json. Let's send that details outside, like let's say ID underscore ID colon. Let's apply that doc reference dot ID. Then let's apply the data, which is your app detail dot data. App detail dot, come on, data, right? This is the one. Data, it's going to be app detail dot data. This is the thing. So save these changes. Now all we have to do is to send this data to your server which the function which we have created. So if you check it out over here, you can see this is the function which we have created. So now we have to pass this to that particular function. So what we have to do is to, under the API, this is the place where we are authenticating the users and everything, right? So we have the base URL over here. So here I'm just going to create one more function, and what we can do is, so instead of doing the console.log over here, I'm going to call one more function, save app data to cloud, and I'm going to pass the underscore doc which we have. So we have to pass the underscore doc, and that is going to be created over here. So export const over here, let's keep it as async method, and we have to receive that data. All right, so here what we have to do is, so somewhere I have written the fetch method. All right, this is the one. See how we have created the how to write the fetch function, or you can simply search like this. Let's say it's over here, write a fetch function with post method to push the data into the server. So this will gives you the fetch method. This is the one. So how to create the fetch method, and how to set the headers and posts and everything, how you will receive the data and everything. All right, these are the things. So this I already returned it over here. We have it over here, add user designs. This is the not one, delete design, where it is, delete a blog, create a blog. Here we go. This is the one. So I'm going to create try and catch over here. So if there is any error, we're going to catch that error, and we have to handle that error over here. Okay, so here I'm just going to return toast.error, open it. Whatever the error message that we got, we have to display that error. So I'm just going to say error and $error dot message. This is the message, or you can simply give the error itself, that object itself, and it's enough. So here we are going to call the try method. Inside this try method, I'm just going to say const response equals to await fetch, and so we are going to say fetch here we have to supply our base URL. So $base URL. So we have our base URL, which is this over here, the object which we created. Then slash, we have to supply our function informations, the function name. So the function name is where it is, this is the one, create new app. This is the function which we have created. Supply that function name. Then along with that function name, now we have the all the details and everything. So this is the function name. Then I have to supply the objects. So what is the method that we have to supply? Method is going to be the post method. Then headers is going to be the, let's apply this, copy the same headers over here. Then body it's going to be qualified JSON dot stringify, and I'm going to supply the detail which I have received over here, data. right? This is the data I have to supply. Then everything is fine over here. So all I have to do is to if not this response, if not that response dot okay, then we have to say toast dot error, open it. I'm just saying to failed to create an app. All right, this is the message. If not, what I'm going to do, const response data equals to await response dot json. We have to fetch that JSON data which we are receiving from the server. We have to fetch that JSON data and we have to return that response data. All right, so we are getting the JSON data and we are returning that response data. All right, so here save it, everything is done. Now I have to use it over here, so let's import it data. So this is going to return a promise dot then. So we are going to get that data and I'm going to say toast dot success, and all we have to say is data saved to the cloud, data saved in the cloud. All right, then let's do the console.log what data we have. Data, save the changes. Let's go up here. There is no mistake so far, and if I click add, okay, so we are getting an error, failed to create an app but data saved to the cloud. So app detail dot data is not a function, so we are getting an over here, this is not okay. So we made a mistake, I think over here, this is the one, app detail, this is the place where we are getting an error. App detail dot data, it's not a function. Why is that so? Why we are getting the error over there? App detail dot data, here it's not showing any issues. Colon app detail. Okay, so we have to wait, we have to make sure that function needs to wait. So wrap this like this, await, save the changes, and now let's give a try and let's see what is happening. So let's try it out now. Let's trigger it one more time. Let's see what we are getting. Add. All right, so now we have the message as see data, and we are getting the data and the ID. The reason why previously it was not working because I failed to use this await keyword, because this function needs to wait until it's successfully fetching that particular ID from the cloud. So let's open up our Firebase. I hope the same data it's added 2 times. I might think because initially we are getting the error only at the point when we are trying to fetch the data, but which means the set function is worked successfully. So I hope the same data it's pushed 2 times in the Firestore database. Let's go here and let's check it out. Apps, see, as I told you, we have the same data 2 different times. The reason why is because previously when we are getting an error, because we are getting the error only at the point when we are trying to refetch the data from the cloud, which means this function is worked successfully. So we are getting the data which is working perfectly, and we have the same data in the cloud, which is good, but the ID is different. You can see, which means this function it's working perfectly fine. So now all we have to do is to clear this data. So let's get back to this new app, and inside here what I'm going to do, so I don't need to display this record anymore, remove it, console log, and over here all I have to do is to just like the same way I need to remove everything. So let's say title, set title, it's going to be an empty string, and set company, it's going to be empty string, and set app icon, it's going to be an empty string, and set cover, it's going to be an empty string, and set reviews, it's going to be an empty string, and set total reviews, it's going to be an empty string, and at the last set downloads, that is also going to be an empty string, and set short description, that is also going to be an empty string, and set banners, it's going to be an empty array, right? These are the things. So once everything is done, we are going to call this clear all fields method over here, save the changes, and then now if I click this, everything will be cleared. Okay. Why it is not clearing? What's the mistake? Okay, so now we are facing some issues with our input container. I figured out what is the mistake is. So the reason over here, it's because it's using this local value, right? It's using that local value. When you are clearing that state, it's clearing the state which is created in the new app. This particular state is being cleared, but there is no way to clear this local state over here, right? So to do that, what we have to do, we have to figure it out. What we have to do is, the best option is to use the state. The best option is to use the state which we are using over here in the new app. It's better to use the same state over here. Instead of what we have to do is, we have to get the state value, and we have to use that state value over here instead of updating this state, which is not necessary. All right, so here now what I have to do is, over here I have to supply the state value, which is going to be the title. That's the state value of this. And here state value, it's going to be the cover, and for this, see, the banner is being cleared, so not an issue. And for this input state value, it's going to be company. For this state value, it's going to be, what is that, app icon. And for this state value, it's going to be reviews. And for this state value, it's going to be total reviews. This state value, it's going to be downloads. Then what else? Yep, it's pretty much good. Save the changes, save this changes also, clear it. Look at that. Now everything is clear. Even if I'm typing something, if I click clear, it's completely clear, which means we fixed the bugs itself. So now we have successfully saved the details and everything. Whenever I click add, it will be added. And now once it's added, I have to bring the new details. I have to fetch the details and I have to display it over here. So that's what we are going to do next.